I step out of my black Tesla, and the Colorado autumn air hits my face like a slap from the past. 5 years. 5 years since I walked out of this family's life with nothing but my programming skills and a promise that still echoes in my ears. Watch me. The Prairie Hills Country Lodge towers ahead, its marble entrance gleaming under the setting sun. 120 guests inside, celebrating Grandma Miriam's 78th birthday. They have no idea what's coming. My phone buzzes against my palm. Nolan Pierce, my COO, never texts unless it's urgent. The AG's office confirmed Miriam's audit backs up their case. The warrant is active. This could happen tonight. My fingers tighten around the device. Attorney General's office, warrant, tonight. The words should terrify me, but instead I feel something cold and sharp settling in my chest. Justice, maybe, or vindication. I adjust my $3,000 Armani blazer, the charcoal fabric fitting like armor. The same family who dismissed me as a failure 5 years ago has no clue that their disappointment now runs a $180 million cybersecurity empire. Watch me. I whisper to the marble steps, but even as I say it, my hands shake. The memory crashes over me like it always does. That dinner 5 years ago. The Grant family dining room with its pretentious mahogany table and crystal chandelier that cost more than most people's cars. I was 26, desperate, still believing I could earn their approval if I just tried harder. Playing with code isn't a career, Alexis. Dad's voice carried that particular blend of disappointment and dismissal I knew so well. Douglas Grant, real estate mogul, couldn't fathom that technology might actually matter. When are you going to get serious about your future? Mom sat down her wine glass with a delicate clink. Why can't you be more like your sister? Evelyn Grant's specialty, the comparison that cut deepest because it was designed to. Marilyn, golden child extraordinaire, leaned back in her chair with that smile I'd learned to fear. Actually, I might have something for Alexis. My non-profit could use an assistant. Part-time, of course. Assistant, part-time, after I'd spent 3 years building security software that companies were actually buying. See? Mom's face lit up like Marilyn had just offered to cure cancer. Marilyn always looks out for family. The weight of 26 years crashed down on me in that moment. 26 years of being the family scapegoat, the one who couldn't measure up, the disappointment. I'd worked double shifts at 16 to pay for college, while Marilyn's education was fully funded. I'd listened to years of, why can't you get straight A's like your sister? I'd built something from nothing, and they called it playing. But it was what Mom said next that broke something inside me permanently. I just want to be proud of you, honey. Is that too much to ask? I am proud of you. 5 words I'd chased my entire life. 5 words she'd never said. Not once, not even when I graduated summa cum laude, or when my first client paid me $50,000 for a security audit. I was the daughter who stayed up until 3 a.m., perfecting projects for parents who noticed nothing but flaws. I was the teenager who worked herself into exhaustion, trying to prove she deserved the same investment they gave Marilyn without question. I was the young woman who kept believing that if I just achieved enough, if I just made enough money, if I just became successful enough, they would finally see me. But sitting at that table, watching Marilyn's smug satisfaction and my parents' relieved expressions because their golden child had solved the Alexis problem, I understood the truth that would change everything. The game was rigged. It had always been rigged. They needed me to fail so Marilyn could succeed. They needed me to stay small so they could feel big. They needed me to remain desperate for approval so they could dole it out as a reward for compliance. I stood up from that mahogany table. Dad's face went slack with shock. Marilyn's smile faltered. Watch me, I said. 2 words that meant everything and nothing. Watch me what? Build something real? Prove my worth? Succeed without you? All of it. None of it. I didn't know yet. I walked out their front door into the October night. I blocked their phone numbers. I returned Christmas cards unopened. I built Vanguard Shield from a $1,000 laptop in my studio apartment, coding 18-hour days fueled by rage and determination. For 5 years, I chose myself over their approval. It was the most terrifying and liberating decision I'd ever made. Now I'm standing outside Prairie Hills Country Lodge, but she's wrong. I'm not the broken girl who walked out 5 years ago. I'm A.L. Grant, CEO of Vanguard Shield. Forbes featured me on their 35 under 35 list, though my family never knew because they never looked. I protect critical infrastructure for 3 states. I employ 47 people who depend on my decisions. I'm not playing with code anymore. I'm winning. The lodge's entrance doors swing open as a couple in their 70s emerges. The warning arrives 3 days before Grandma Miriam's party, buried in my morning inbox. Marilyn is planning something big for Grandma's party. She says she's going to expose the truth about you. Cousin Tessa's text stops my coffee cup halfway to my lips. I'm sitting in my Denver penthouse, 47 floors above the city that rebuilt my life, and suddenly I'm 26 again. Heart racing, palms sweating, that familiar knot of dread forming in my stomach. Expose what truth? I haven't spoken to any of them in 5 years. I've been ghost protocol since I walked out of their dining room. What could Marilyn possibly know about my life now? I forward the message to Nolan Pierce without a word. My COO understands family warfare better than most people understand their own careers. 2 hours later, he's standing in my office. She hired investigators, he says without preamble. Ridgewell and Hartman out of Denver. High and firm, not cheap. My chest tightens. What kind of investigators? The thorough kind. Colton Hartman specifically, former FBI, 20 years experience, specializes in financial forensics and background verification. Nolan drops a manila folder on my desk. The good news is he's ethical, won't fabricate evidence. She knows about A.L. Grant. The world tilts sideways. A.L. Grant, my professional identity, my gender-neutral shield in the tech world, my protection against anyone connecting Vanguard Shield's success to the Grant family failure. 5 years of careful separation, gone. She knows you're on the Forbes list. She knows about the $180 million valuation. She knows you're CEO. His voice gets quieter. Alexis, she knows everything. I sink into my chair, the leather suddenly feeling like quicksand. This is worse than I imagined. Marilyn didn't just discover I exist, she discovered I succeeded, spectacularly. While she was playing non-profit director in Willow Creek, I was building an empire an hour away. There's more. Of course there is. Hartman's investigation went both ways. When he traced payment sources for his fees, he found something interesting in Marilyn's finances. My blood turns to ice water. What kind of something? $420,000 embezzled from her nonprofit over 3 years, plus $25,000 stolen from your family trust. The irony hits me like a sledgehammer to the chest. Marilyn hired an investigator to destroy me and accidentally destroyed herself instead. The golden child who spent years criticizing everyone else's ethics is a criminal. The sister who got everything handed to her has been stealing from charitable donations and family money. When does he file the report? He's filing it. This morning. I'll see you at the party. I hang up before he can respond. Nolan watches me carefully. You okay? They just uninvited me from my own grandmother's birthday party. I laugh, but it comes out hollow. The system works sometimes, Nolan says quietly, but it doesn't feel like victory. Am I going to walk into that emotional battlefield? Am I going to face down parents who still see me as the family disappointment? Am I going to watch Marilyn get arrested at our grandmother's birthday party? I need to be there, because running away would prove everything they ever said about me. My phone rings again. This time the number makes my heart skip. Grandma? Hello, sweetheart. Miriam's voice, crystal clear despite her 78 years. I heard Douglas called you. He uninvited me to your party. Douglas doesn't get to uninvite people to my party. Neither does Marilyn. though she's been suggesting I should reconsider who attends. As if I need a criminal's advice about guest lists. Sweetheart, I commissioned it. The world stops. What? 2 months ago, I ordered my own audit of Marilyn's non-profit. The auditor found everything.